Alright, so we have our weapon entry, we have all the necessary construction objects and object mods and everything all hooked up so the weapon is fully operational in game. But how does the player actually acquire the weapon? There's two ways to go about it. The first one is to just place the weapon in the world somewhere, and the player can just either stumble upon it or you tell them where it is and they can just walk over and pick it up. And a particularly uninventive place to put it is right outside Vault 111 when you come up the lift, and the weapon's just lying there. How convenient. So you might want to think where might be a cool lore-friendly place. You might want to do some scouting in game for where you want to place your weapon. And what I've decided is I'm going to be placing at least the unique version of the hunting revolver, the Sequoia, into Kellogg's house in Diamond City because he has previous ties to the NCR, and someone suggested it on the Nexus, so I think I'll be putting it there. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have our render window here. Right now it's blank, and all we need to do is go down here to the cell view and find DMND Kellogg's house. I think it stands Kellogg. Yeah, there it is. Double click that, and then boom, it's loaded. So if I move the mouse wheel backwards, then you see we're zooming out of the scene. If I hit middle mouse, we pan, and if I hold shift, we rotate. So if I just pan and rotate, we can then see where we are in the scene. If I hit A, that enables lighting, and then we can see even more clearly where exactly we are. So this place is, I think it's inaccessible until you do a quest later in the game, but this whole area here is accessible. There are several keys to get in. If you've played the Fallout main story, then you know there's a couple different ways to get in, and I think one of them is a key under the stands or something you can find. So it's, yeah, there are ways to get into this house without needing to pick the lock because the door is a master lock. But it is accessible to pretty much any player at a certain point in the game. So we want to, place the weapon in the scene. So all we need to do is drag from the object window, and boom, there it is. It's in the scene. So I could just place it on the dresser. If I hit W for move, I can sort of move it into position. So for now, let's just put it on the sideboard. Rotate. If I hit E, I can then rotate it. Just having a hard time with the camera controls here. It's been a while since I've messed around with the cell view. Okay, so we want to drop it onto the dresser. If we go up here, we have the Havoc Simulate button, I think. Run Havoc Sim. If we click that once, it'll run. And if we click it again, it stops running. That's kind of bounced into a weird position, but that's fine. Actually, I might in fact, this is a pretty undignified place for the Sequoia, isn't it? Let's think of something a bit more imaginative. How about we put it behind the bed? So we need some kind of, maybe a suitcase or some kind of small thing behind here that we could place it on. So I'll delete that for now. Yeah, just to mention, down here we have a list of all the objects in the scene. So if you lose, if you lose an object, like you placed a few coffee cups in the scene and you lost it, you can just filter here and find it. Useful. But yeah, if we want to place a new object in the scene, we just go down to World Objects and Statics, and we can sort of search for some kind of small object. It'll take a second to load because there's just so many. If I right click and preview, then obviously we get a preview of the object, and I can sort of click here and hit the cursor down to sort of fly through them. Looks like we've got ducts, posters, airplane parts, pillars. So you probably want to narrow down what you want to place. Let's go with just furniture. So I need to zoom out a bit faster, so I'm going to set my zoom speed back to something quite fast, or at least faster. Beds. Couch sets. Again, it's been a while since I've done any cell editing or world building, so it might take me a second to find something good. See if a suitcase is too big. So I'll middle click into the scene and then place this. So that is quite big. I wonder if it'll fit underneath the bed. Oh. Alright, so I've lost it. I need to do is type suitcase here and then I can select it. What exactly have I selected? Okay, I've selected some kind of mist. So this is the part where I check the creation kit cheat sheet because I I forgot. Okay, so if I press 1, there we go. That should hide everything in the way. Okay, right, so I needed to resize the render window for some reason because the gizmo was getting in the way. But yeah, if you press 1 then it sort of hides an object, and if you were to click away it would probably be hidden. Yeah, it is hidden. So you need to press Alt 1 to bring it back. So 1 hides an object, or rather toggles hidden, and Alt 1 brings everything back. So let's see if this, after all of that, does it actually fit under the bed. Okay, good, it does. Well, sort of. Not really. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I pressed Shift F to focus on the object, makes it a lot easier. Okay, then it's D to deselect, so that wipes our selection. And now we can drag out the sequoia again and properly place it. I would put it inside I might put some 44 ammo or something inside the suitcase. But I think it'd have to be a static actually for that to work. Why is it rotating? Must be gimbal lock or something. Actually, it's probably local. I'll have to look that up as well. Ah, okay. It's if I hit the G key, then it switches from world to local orientation, which is better for certain placement and rotation. Is it more exciting that way around, or this way around? Or this way around? Okay, then we just Havoc simulate it. I might lower it so it doesn't bounce into a weird position. Havoc simulate it, and boom, there it is. Perfectly placed onto the suitcase. And I hit D, or I have to be in the window for it to work. There we go, D. And it's done. Hit save. And then when we load the game later, we'll be able to check that it's there in the correct position. And players will be able to go and find it and pick it up from in the world, which I think is so much more exciting than just having it lying around in a nonsensical place. One small thing I wanted to add it's not a good idea to sort of select objects that already existed in the scene and moving them around, or deleting existing objects, because that can create cell, it can break the pre-combine in a cell. And I'll go over how to sort of restore that pre-combine. What pre-combined is, it takes all the objects in a scene and sort of combines them into one object, so that it loads easier by the game. But the main thing is better performance. So if all the objects are combined together and it knows what should be where, in a sense, then you get better performance. But we should only, as a rule of thumb, we should only add objects. Alright, so what's the other method we can use to get the weapon in game in a more dynamic way? We can use leveled lists and quests. So what this will do is, what a leveled list is essentially, the leveled part means according to the player level, something will appear, or the sort of loot chance, or if a player has certain perks, then the leveled list sort of responds to that. And the list part is just listing the actual object itself. So I've created a few different actual leveled lists here with the hunting revolver in them. And it looks like this one gives the hunting revolver... Oh yeah, so these are based off of certain templates. So if you remember, we did those default templates. Okay, let's actually open the hunting revolver. Or if you remember up here, the object template, and then if I go to say scoped only, then you see here F pistol TMP scoped, which is the same keyword which we find here. So these templates are set up for leveled lists basically, and these keywords dictate what appears in the leveled list. So that's the leveled list setup. Take a quick look at some other ones. So if I go vendor, then we'll see that there's certain vendors. I find vendor gun specialty. I believe this is that vendor in Good Neighbor, but yeah, she has all of these leveled lists, and these will essentially randomly populate her inventory with certain setups of guns. So there might be certain guns with scopes on them, or certain grips, all kind of based on the level of the player. See here the actual level range on the left here for what you might find. So if you're level 24, you'll get assault rifles in the store, and so on. Okay, so we know what level lists are. How exactly do we get our gun to appear in the vendors? We do it by modifying the vendor's leveled list, but not by sort of dragging or going into the vendor lists and sort of editing them that way. We're actually going to use a quest. So let's start by making it, and this quest is going to inject our leveled lists into the vendor leveled lists and various other leveled lists sort of dynamically, very cleanly, which is good. So let's call it hunting revolver injection. Doesn't need a quest name because we never see the quest. And then we'll go to the scripts tab. Yes, there's one other thing we need to do. Let's just hit OK. So that's the quest created. I'll go to File, Preferences, all the way over to Scripts, and type in hunting revolver into the default namespace. And this will essentially nest our script inside a hunting revolver folder inside the game folders, which is good for organization. It's just nice. But good practice as well. You don't want all your scripts clogging up the scripts folder. Far too many mods do that. Okay, so that's done. Let's go back to our quest. We'll notice quite a few more stages have appeared, tabs have appeared here. we don't really need to worry about right now. Go to scripts and we'll hit add, and then we'll double click, just ignore all this, this is what I did before. We'll click new script and you'll see here that the namespace actually appears properly. So let's call this something like, I can't call it what I call the other one. Let's say something like LL for leveled list, hunting revolver injection. Maybe a underscore there. And then we're good, we'll hit OK. And then that creates the quest and it automatically opens this properties window. What we'll actually do is we'll close that and then right click and edit source, and then we're able to actually edit the source text for the script. Okay, so here's a script I made earlier. If I go to my work folder and then go into the new scripts folder which I made, and then open this hunting revolver leveled list injection PSC, we can see the script which I wrote. Now, I'm not really going to go through exactly how I wrote this. Well, I'll cover what's actually happening in it, but it's not like I'm going to type it out now. It's something which you sort of you have to practice with Papyrus and sort of understand how to write the language to be able to write this from scratch is what I mean. So there's no shame in me saying, as I'm an artist, but I did copy parts of this from another script. So all we're going to do is we'll copy this whole part and paste it under here. But I will talk about what these actually do. So we can ignore this line up here is already in here, and there's actually this part on the front. So that part there means that it's nested within a folder, essentially. But yeah, right, so we have our properties, and these are all leveled items. So the first three are the ones which we've created, the hunting revolver leveled lists, which I just showed. The simple version, the random version, and the ones with only scoped on. Then we have 3 leveled lists which already exist in the game. And I think that's the legendary... Yeah, the sort of, I guess, high quality legendary guns. And then we have the gun specialty vendor, which I think is the one in Good Neighbor Clio. And then the leveled list for any bosses. And this is for sort of legendary enemies like raiders that will have the hunting revolver. And so these two will actually apply legendary effects to the gun, so there's actually a chance to find, you know, a 2-shot hunting revolver or an explosive ammo hunting revolver, or, you know, something nice like that. Okay, so we've declared our properties up here, and then we move on to our variables. So we've declared an event on quest initialization, on quest init. So when the quest initializes, it'll run these commands and then end the event. I'm probably completely butchering the terminology here, but I'm an artist and this is an approachable scripting tutorial, so what can you do? But yeah, so we declare the in-game, the existing vanilla leveled list, and then we go .add form, and we add our leveled list, and then we state a sort of level for when the leveled list will appear. So let's look at the weapon vendor one. So we add form the simple hunting revolver, so just the basic one at level 30. So it will only appear in the specialty vendor in Good Neighbor when it's level 30, when the player is level 30. And it's the same with these. So what I essentially want is for the player to have a chance, once they reach level 20, to, when they fight bosses or find sort of some kind of cache or something which has this leveled list associated with it, they will have a chance to find a really good hunting revolver. But otherwise, if they reach level 30, they can just buy it from a vendor. And then this last line is just a debug notification. This does actually appear in-game, and it will simply say in the top left, hunting revolver will appear out in the world. and that lets the player know that we can't talk about leveled lists or anything because the average player probably has no idea what we're talking about when we say leveled list, but we do. So we'll just say the hunting revolver will appear around the world because everyone knows what that means. Alright, so yeah, I wrote this script in Notepad++, and it has the papyrus style, which syntax highlighting, I believe it's called. So you know, certain different elements of the script will be highlighted in different ways. So you know, your properties will be purple and that kind of thing. You can find it by googling it. I'll put a link in the description if I remember. Alright, so we pasted our script in. Here it is, and all we need to do is hit save. And if it works, then we get batch compile. One file's finished, one succeeded, which is great. If we go into our actual in-game scripts folder, so our Fallout data scripts, and then we find here, I didn't create this folder, it just appeared when I saved, and then here's our PEX file. So PEX file is an actual compiled script file. We can't, if we open it, we'll see, yeah, doesn't make any sense at all. So what we do need to do is go to our source folder. So source user should be, maybe it's not here, no. I think actually we need to place the script in here ourselves after, so that other people can other users can download and open the scripts folder, and it'll be under source. But there is a decompiler called Champollion, which can decompile PEX files into PSC files, and the PSC files are the ones which we can actually view. Alright, so we've saved and compiled, and what we need to do is go into properties and view the properties, and we need to then autofill all the values, and then that autofills all the values, and we have our leveled lists properly assigned. I'll just hit OK again, and save, and now we'll go in game and actually test whether that worked or not. Okay, so what I have is a test save where this guy has just come out of the vault, and it's a completely fresh save with no mods installed. So let's load the save. Alright, we're in, and if you saw up there in the top left, we got that debug notification, which is a good sign. It basically means our event fired, which is it's a good sign. We still need to test whether the objects, whether our leveled lists actually injected properly. So let's go to the map view. What I'll do is I'll type TMM1. That toggles map markers, all of them on. And close the console before I start clicking on things. I'll head to Good Neighbor. Okay, don't care, haha. Into the building. Now we need to be... So the way vendors work in this game is... he sat on the chair, I was going to use that chair. Okay, whatever. I'll sit on this one. So the way vendors work in games is they refresh every 72 hours. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we're high enough level. So I'm going to go player.mod.av experience, say 25,000, and then that takes us to just under level 30. Alright, so I should be a high enough level now. Yeah, 32, perfect. So if you remember, we need to be level 30 for the hunting revolver to correctly appear in vendors the way we set it up. So the next thing we need to do is actually wait for 72 hours. I have a mod which lets me skip forward by pressing A and D. I can skip forward in increments of 12 hours, and it's much faster if I hit OK. It just instantly goes to the required hour. And there we go. If we walk outside, think it was this door. Oh, he died. Rip. Talk to Clear.
Hello?
Sure. Let's take a look.
Purchase a variety and
Barter, and if all goes to plan, yes, there it is, the hunting revolver. We've got it. And it appeared successfully in the leveled list. Okay, but we're too poor to buy it, so I'm going to go add item, just hit F, and then F is the code for caps in the game, so that makes it very convenient to just really quickly give yourself caps. And there we go. Ah, no ammo. Ah, you're lucky. Got away with it this time. But yeah, there we go. We have the weapon. I'm still leveling up. He seems familiar. We're still leveling up, and yeah, the weapon works. It's appeared in level lists. Everything is good. If you want to, you can you know, spend a few hours playtesting the game. Maybe set the difficulty really high to make tons more legendary enemies appear, so you can really test whether the weapon appears on legendary enemies or not. Or you can just launch your mod and hope that if the bug reports come in saying I can't find the weapon anywhere on enemies, so hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully you're not as lazy as I've been in the past. Okay, awesome. So that covers level lists. And placing... Oh yeah! We need to check if the Sequoia... Wow, I'm still leveling up. We need to check if the Sequoia is in Kellogg's house. So let's head to Diamond City. Cool. I'll boost my speed. I believe it's... Whoa. This way. So I'll make it daytime, so I can actually see where I'm going. Right, the door's locked, no problem. Just click on it and hit unlock. And we can go straight in. Use my console powers. Right, let's head upstairs. And there we go. The Sequoia. Awesome. I should add the featured item keyword, which lets you, when you pick up a weapon, it gets highlighted, and you have to, you know, then hit E to accept it. It's a lot less anticlimactic than that just was. You want to make it at least a bit exciting. So yeah, that covers leveled lists and how to place objects and items in the world.